Hi, my name's Nancy and welcome back to Nancy's Homestyle Kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you my Blue Ribbon State Fair award-winning toasted pecan pumpkin bread recipe. All right, I'm going to go over the ingredients that you need, but all the specific measurements will be listed in the description box. You're going to need granulated sugar, all-purpose flour, a neutral oil such as vegetable oil or avocado oil, which I'm going to use today. You need a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Now you want to make sure this is 100% pumpkin. Do not get pumpkin pie filling. That does not work, okay? Then you're going to need salt, baking soda, baking powder, some cinnamon, cloves, eggs, and toasted pecans. And then we're going to have some other pecans that are not toasted, and I'll explain more as we get there. So first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then I have two 9-inch by 5-inch bread pans, and I've sprayed them with some avocado spray and floured them. They have stuff called Baker's Joy, which is a spray that has the oil and flour mixed in, or you could do butter and flour, but you want to make sure that they're coated really nice so your breads don't stick. So I'm going to set those back here. And the first thing that we're going to do is cream together our oil and sugar. So you're going to need 2/3 cup of oil. So we'll get that in my mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you could just use a hand mixer. 3 cups of sugar. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but remember, we are making 2 loaves out of this one batch. Because this bread freezes really, really well. And that first loaf, honestly, it goes really fast. There's 2, and we need 1 more cup. You can see I'm using this to level off each of the measurements. And then I just have a flat beater attachment here on my mixer. But we're gonna go ahead and get that blended. We're gonna let that go just for a little bit. And then I'm gonna start adding the eggs one by one. And when I add the eggs, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit and just start adding them in one at a time. I always crack my eggs in a separate bowl because I have cracked eggs directly into my mixing bowl before and got eggshells in there, and then it's just a disaster. So just crack them separately, and that way you can make sure they're fine, especially if you get farm fresh eggs from a farm stand, which I do a lot of the time. And those are really the best eggs. The yolks are so bright. Okay, I'm going to stop. I want to scrape the sides down because I want to make sure that all of the sugar gets incorporated in with the oil and the eggs. Okay, I'm just going to beat this on high speed for about a minute or 2. That is good. And what you're looking for is this nice, like, creamy, velvety consistency. So to this mixture, we are going to add the pumpkin. Okay, we got the pumpkin in there. I have 2/3 cup of water. We're gonna add that. Now I need 3 1/3 cup. So again, just don't pack it, just get it up above your cup and then scrape it off. And I'm gonna actually start getting this slowly incorporated while I'm measuring and adding in the flour gradually. There's 2 cups, 3 cups, and 1/3. Now we are gonna go in with all of our spices, salt, etc. So let's start with baking powder. We need 1/2 teaspoon. Baking soda, 2 teaspoons. Salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of ground cloves. It's amazing how quick you can start smelling the pumpkin and the spices. Okay, I'm gonna turn this up a little bit, give this a mix. I'll go ahead and scrape down the sides and mix it again. Now, I don't want to, at this point, really over mix the batter So I'm not gonna turn it up really high. Let me scrape down the sides. This is a quick bread, what they call it. It's not like a yeasted bread. So this is very similar to zucchini bread or banana bread. And like with muffins, you just don't wanna overmix it. And then I took some pecans and roasted them in the oven at 350 degrees. I just spread them out on a cookie sheet. It takes about 7 to 10 minutes, and you just wanna watch it just till they're nice and toasty, and then chopped them up to equal 1 cup. So we're gonna put these toasted pecans in the bread. I have some untoasted pecans that we will decorate the top with. And the reason why I didn't toast these ahead of time is because they're gonna be exposed in the oven while they're sitting on top. I don't want them to over toast and burn. So those are just untoasted pecans. Okay, then we're just gonna add in our toasted pecans. I'm gonna scrape down my sides again. And then we will do 1 quick spin. And that is it. This is a very easy bread to make. Okay, our batter is done. So I'm just gonna split it evenly between these 2 pans. And it should fill them up about halfway. So I think this is actually one of the first things I ever entered in the state fair. I did this one, and I did a zucchini bread. That one I got a 2nd place, but this one I was very proud of getting 1st place. And I lived in a very big state, so it was a pretty big state fair. I love the fairs. I love the county fairs. I actually entered a couple quilts in our county fair this summer and won a couple ribbons for that. I've entered some photography, and it's just kind of fun to enter and then go and see all the other amazing entries and just how talented people are in your local community. And I'm a big supporter of keeping our fairs alive because I think they're special. Okay, so these are evenly split, and then what I'm gonna do is just kind of, I saw this somewhere, can't remember where, said do just kind of a line in the top of your bread. So it, the split will happen down the line. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but we will see. And then I take the raw untoasted pecans and just lay them down the middle on the top. And then these will get nice and toasty on top as the bread cooks. And then it's gonna go into the oven for about 60 to 70 minutes. And you're just gonna test it with a toothpick or a skewer at 60 minutes. And you wanna go just straight down in the middle, and you don't want any residue left on your skewer. It should just come out totally clean, okay? So I'll be back in about an hour when these are ready to pull out of the oven, and I'll let you know the next step. Okay, these took about 65 minutes. The toothpick came out clean. So I'm gonna let these sit here in the pans for 15 minutes, and then I'll turn them out onto the cooling rack and let them completely cool before we cut into them. So back to the tip I shared about not toasting the nuts that you're gonna garnish with. If you could see, the nuts up here are perfectly toasty. If we would have toasted them along with the nuts that we chopped up and put inside the bread, they would have been way overdone. So just put raw nuts on the top of your bread and you'll be good to go. Okay, our bread has cooled enough. It's still slightly warm. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into it so I can show you how beautiful this is. So we put this piece over here, and we'll just get a nice piece right off the edge of this. And there you go. Our nice toasted pecan pumpkin bread. It's super moist. And it's going to be very flavorful. You get the pumpkin, the warm spices of the cinnamon and the clove, and the toasted flavor of the pecans. This is why I won a blue ribbon. It is a really, really good bread. And it's perfect just with coffee or tea or for dessert. Any time of the day, this is a perfect little snack. I hope you like this recipe and enjoy the content. If you do, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing, and I will be back next week with another recipe from my kitchen.